We're back at the NASA National Championships. We're looking at the time trial session now. And what you're looking at on the screen is maybe the fastest front-wheel drive race car anywhere. That's Christian Rado, and that front wing, he's been criticized by so many people about that wing, and it said it can't work. But when you realize that the drive wheels on the front of that are on the front of that Scion, and it only makes sense to put the down pressure on the drive wheels so that he gets better traction through the turn. That car is incredible, and Chris has won many time trial. In fact, he has, at time attack events, which is similar to time trial, he has beaten rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive cars in the same session with that front-wheel drive car, and that was thought to be impossible not too many years ago.
Well, and we should explain a little bit about what we're watching right now. This is the time trial program that NASA has that started, I believe, back in about 2003 or so, and has really developed. And as Bill mentioned, it's a little bit different than time attack, which is traditionally you go out, you have one warm-up lap, one hot lap, and then one cool-down, and you come in. These guys go out for a full session to see if they can notch their best lap. And again, they're not running for position. They're just trying to see who can achieve the best lap time out here.
For example, you look at the times now, we're on the track with a Super Touring 2 car and a TTS, that Corvette there. Christian Rado is faster than two cars that are in theory supposed to be faster than him. He is the second fastest in this session.
Well, and you can see these guys have been running all day, so it looks like the safety truck's coming out. Someone may have had a little off course there, but
it looks like somebody ran off the end of the track there in turn one. No, that's on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, that just maybe the safety truck might have just been going there for transit to get across. So thought we had some drama, but really it was just them getting back into position after the race there. But you can see these cars coming around, and they're all trying to notch the best lap time. And in this session, they may not have done it. And we look at the results from the whole day.
So we are in a time trial session where they are in a full 40-minute session. We're about, maybe not 40 minutes. How long should this session be?
I think this was a shorter session. I think this session was only notched for
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're out there just trying to see if they can achieve a good time.
There's a Factory 5 car that's out there. So there's a number of drivers who will utilize not only their class, but also this time trial session. It gives them more track time, allows them to test a little more, and just gives them more time behind the wheel to get their chops down so that they can learn more about the track and learn more about themselves.
Yeah, and that car we're looking at right there is running in a TTS. That's Dr. Karen Salvaggio. She was also in our Factory 5 race. Oh, is that Chris Rado out there that's broken down? Yep, it sure is. So something blew up for Chris, and that's terrible. He's probably one of the nicest guys I've met out here at the racetrack, and it's no good to see him sitting there by the side of the track. So I imagine the session may not be great because they'll have to lift going through there and not be able to notch their best lap times. But nonetheless, they can still see what they can get done out there.
Chris Rado has just built another car in addition to that wild front-wheel drive car that you see there that stopped on the track. He's just finished an all-wheel drive Scion that Chris Rado goes back to front-wheel drive drag racing. So he's used to building out of 2-liter motors. He's getting 1,000, 1,200, 1,400 horsepower out of 122 cubic inches. That's stupid. It makes no sense, but Chris does it. And one of the reasons why he's using that downforce, that big wing on the front, is to put some of that, as much of that power to the ground as possible. Now, he told me that with this all-wheel drive car that he's got about 1,100 or 1,200 horsepower, and he is they're testing that car. They haven't really got a good session out of it. They used a NASA session in Atlanta to roll the car out first, and he's been testing it since then. That was about, a month and a half ago. So he's been testing some since then, and this was supposed to be a chance for him to come out and expand his testing a little more, but evidently he's run into some problems with the front-wheel drive car and not the all-wheel drive Scion that he built himself. 1,100 horsepower, and the computers that he has, and he also has a video system in the car that's got about 5 cameras. They're all synced, so you hit one button that starts all 5 of them, so all the shots are the same, and he makes that available to the media a lot of the times when people that want to do video interviews with him, and he used that for on-track action footage.
And we're seeing one Corvette get pushed back, but for a while there we were following that beautiful blue Corvette of my old friend Gary Felton. Was out there in Time Trial S doing some laps, and that's his Gulfstream Blue, I believe they call that color, Corvette, and he is out there enjoying himself and running some good laps. It's a very beautiful looking car.
And there's no telling what these cars had done to them. They could be complete race machines to something as stock as something in your driveway. So it could be people who are listening to us at home now on the Speedcast TV webcast here. They might have an STI, an Evo, a Corvette, a Mustang in your driveway, and you've done a lot of work to it, and you've spent money on the engine. You might have 400, 500, 600 horsepower. You've got an all-new suspension like I have on my Mustang, and it's sitting at home in the garage. Get that thing out here in NASA and learn. They've got special driver ed programs that they can teach you how to go fast. Don't be afraid to go fast on a racetrack with people watching you where you have safety, and don't do it on the street. Do it here in a NASA kind of program where they have driver development programs, and you could end up in, you don't want to race wheel to wheel, get out here at the time trial and see what you can do. Get a real time, and don't believe all the bad things you hear from your friends who tell you that I went out and I did this and I did that. You're competing against yourself and not necessarily against the guys with the Corvettes and the front-wheel drive Scions.
Well, and we do have a program that is absolutely geared towards the rank beginner who's never even seen a road racing track, but has the enthusiasm and the interest to go give it a try. We really have great instructors in our program. Most of them are racers themselves, and they get in the car with you for that first session. You have a little intercom that you hook up, and you have a ton of classroom time where you really are brought up to speed, never made to feel bad about being new. And what we hope is you stick around and we pass you the addiction there of driving on the track, and hopefully we develop you all the way up through the DE ranks into time trial and maybe racing, or heck, maybe you just stay in one of the intermediate classes and you're a happy camper. We're happy to have you anytime.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with driving your car to the track, going out to some of these time trial sessions, and driving the car back home. You don't have to have an 18-wheeler and a crew of 5 or 10 to come out there and help you. It might help to have a little bit of money set aside for some tires, because tires that you plan to get 10 or 15,000 miles with may not last quite that long when you start scrubbing them off on a racetrack.
Well, and every mile on the track is like 100 miles or better on the street. So, yeah, it does wear the equipment out a little quicker, but boy, it sure is a lot more fun than driving to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, right, exactly. Especially to 7-Eleven. They're just going to take your money as opposed to spending your money out here for something you like to do. We are looking at the NASA National Championships for 2010, presented by Toyo Tires. This is a time trial session. I'm Bill Wood. We're talking with John Lindsay. That's been a long day.
Long day.
John Lindsay is the Chief Divisional Director for NASA. We've been saying that all day, John. What's that mean? What's your job?
Well, I wear a lot of hats, Bill. I run a lot of the back office functions for NASA, where I'm working with insurance and payroll and just mundane things like that. But the best part of my job is I get to travel around to NASA regions all over the country and help all of our regions live up to the high standards we set, and also get to meet a lot of our members out there and see some amazing racetracks. This job has been an absolute dream. I get to work with people like you that I've heard on media, the radio, TV, and in different places, and I say, my gosh, I have to pinch myself sometimes, and I get to go behind the curtain all the time at these beautiful racetracks like here at Miller Motorsports Park.
You also get to run into old friends like Boomhauer. Let's get Boomhauer to describe them towing Chris Rado off the track here.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that dang old Ford truck right there got that thing with a wing on the front, man. He done blowed up, and he done come on in there, man, and, I don't know what we're going to do with that thing, man. You better take that wing off the front, man. It's just too radical.
There's Boomhauer joined us here in the booth here at the Miller Motorsports Park. We're looking at the 2010 NASA National Championships. I'm Bill Wood. That's John Lindsay. We are just saw Chris Rado. Man, Chris has had that car is really on the cutting edge, and it either goes, like crazy, or theirs got towed off the track. And you'll go over there and talk to Chris. That's the other thing about coming to a NASA event. You get a chance to talk to these drivers face to face. They're not going to hide in a motor coach, and you're not going to have to go sit and wait 1,000 hours for an autograph. You can talk to them. A lot of them will actually give you some background. As you go to them and say, I have this problem with my car, what can I do? And a lot of them, if they have the time, they will share it with you and share what they know, because they would want to see you come out and have as much fun as they're having with your car here on the racetrack.
Absolutely. It's a real fun environment, supportive environment. We try to have the slogan like AYSO Youth Soccer used to say, everyone plays. Well, with NASA, everyone drives. And
has a good time doing it. If you have the passion to have an STI or an Evo or a Corvette or a Mustang or even an old 510 like I used to have that in the driveway, then you ought to give that car what it was designed to do, a chance to come out to the racetrack, not on the street, not on the freeway, not on the on-ramp or off-ramp. You come out to the racetrack, get some help, get some training, just like you wouldn't go out and just immediately start running a marathon. You'd get some training and work up to it, so you can do the same thing at a NASA weekend. Go out and get some driver development training and learn how to drive the car safely and maximize. Let's say you spent $10,000 on your car. You can, right now, you're probably getting $1,000 worth of use out of it. If you come out to a NASA weekend, you could probably get $11,000 of use out of that $10,000 investment, and you'll have the biggest smile, and all your friends will say, gee, what happened? You're so much more pleasant nowadays.
It's true. It's true.
We are looking at Chris is bringing the car in. That's too bad.
Well, it looks like the checkered flag is out, Bill, so I think we've exhausted our quotient of fun for today, but we certainly will be back tomorrow with a lot of good races here at Miller Motorsports Park.
The 2010 National Autosport Association Spec Miata National Championship is brought to you by Mother's Polishes, Waxes, and Cleaners. Nothing shines like Mother's. And Toyo Tires, driven to perform.
Quality and value. Style. Performance. Sure, you want it all. You just don't want to spend it all. No problem. Just go with the brand voted #1 overall, Toyo Tires. For 7 of the last 9 years by people who know best. Independent tire dealers, just like me. So for top quality and top value, take it from the pros. Toyo Tires.